$800, 3-bedroom apartment, read all ad. First floor, 3-bedroom apartment, new bathroom, new tiles, new tub, all new hardwood floors, new kitchen floor, freshly painted. Washer and dryer hookup in basement, $800. Parking, no utilities, or we can reduce rent for some fun once a month between landlord and tenant. LOL, available September 1st. Hi, I'm April.
And I'm Jay.
And we have no ideas. And we're back.
Yay, vacation's over.
Sorry.
Yeah. So that was, you had some fun while I was gone.
I had some fun while you were gone? Oh, yeah, with guest hosts.
Podcast.
I'm like, what are you
on this very podcast.
I'm like, what are you talking about? I even saw you when you were gone.
Technically, yes, you did, but we'll get into that. So how's it going?
Not bad. I messed up my mouth somehow. I think No. I think I ate something spicy. Well, I definitely ate something spicy. But, like, on Sunday night, I had steak with, like, I guess a lot of cayenne pepper on it. Because since, like, Monday morning I woke up and, like, my mouth feels like I burnt everything out of it.
Oh, no.
Yeah, like, under my tongue, my lip, well, it's just awful. I'm like, please, God, let this get better.
I was going to ask you if you had Captain Crunch.
No, but that's what it feels like, except the roof of my mouth doesn't feel like that my tongue does.
Oh, God. Captain Crunch is the worst.
Yes. Yes, it is. So how are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, back from vacation. My vacation was good. We had a lot of fun. I'll get into the details of that in a little bit. But back to the grind, I suppose. It has been a pretty good week for all the stuff that we like. And there's some stuff in particular I want to talk about.
Okay.
Obviously. And this seems like the right place to do that. So first, I want to talk about. Have you seen? There was I put this in quotes, a fan-made trailer dropped this week for a potential movie.
Vaguely.
So, in the spirit of Ryan Reynolds leaking Deadpool test footage, a certain well-known actor named Nathan Fillion got together with his friends, who are also two well-known actors, and decided that they were going to make a fan trailer for an Uncharted movie.
Okay.
And they released it this week.
I did see that, but since I don't really know what Uncharted is.
So Uncharted is a video game series.
Okay.
And the lead character, Nathan Drake, in that series looks a bit like Nathan Fillion.
Okay.
So fans have always wanted him to play that role. They've been talking for a couple of years now about making the movie, and he was never talked about as being cast in that role, of course, because that's what Hollywood does. They don't listen to the fans.
Right.
So he decided to go out and
wait, nor should they a lot of the times. Let's just
50-50. So he went out and he made a 15-minute short version of what an Uncharted movie would be starring himself.
Okay.
The other character in question in this video game series, Nathan Drake's partner, his name is it's Sam. He's an older gentleman.
Okay.
And give me a second here. Somehow Nathan Fillion, I didn't know these two were friends, but Nathan Fillion was able to get a friend of his, again, another well-known actor, by the name of, give me a second here, because I forgot his name. And I'm ashamed that I forgot his name, because I'm a big fan of his. God, this is terrible. I apologize. His name is...
This is so interesting to the listeners.
It really is.
And to me, who has no idea what you're talking about.
The worst story. Stephen Lang, who you know from Avatar, perhaps.
Okay.
The older general with like the scar.
Oh. Okay.
Very similar to the character in the video game. So he got like Stephen Lang to do this short film with him too. It was amazing. It's a tough sell for you because you're not a fan of the video game series, but trust me, this is what people like want.
Listen, I am a Nathan Fillion fan, so I will see it.
I hope they make it with him in it, but
yeah,
we'll see. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in the same realm as trailers dropping was, I don't know if you're aware, but the DC Entertainment dropped their first trailers for the Titan show today.
Yes, I didn't watch it.
Oh boy. DC is going all in on dark and gritty.
Okay.
All in. And spoilers if you haven't seen the trailer. Well, anybody that's listening to this has probably seen the trailer already by the time this comes out. The tagline that came out of that trailer, or the article I read, was watch the Titans trailer, blah 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 blah, and in quotes it said "fuck Batman," and I'm like, what? Fuck Batman? So you watch the trailer and it's super dark and gritty. It's follows Raven and Robin, obviously Dick Grayson, Beast Boy and Starfire, but really it focuses on Robin and Raven.
Okay.
And there's one scene where like Robin is just kicking the crap out of a bunch of street thugs, like bloody kicking the crap out of them, like they're going for a hard TVMA rating on this thing.
Well, it's going to be part of their new streaming service.
Yeah. So, and at one point one of the thugs is like, "Where's Batman?" And he like kicks the crap out of a bunch of them, and he literally like, I think he has a gun at one point and he's shooting them and he's like, "Fuck Batman." I was like, Robin just said "fuck Batman." Like legit. It was pretty badass. It's pretty fucked up. So watch that. Okay.
I just didn't get around to it. And I'm trying to decide if I want to do the DC streaming /
It depends. I kind of want to see Titans.
Yeah.
But I may let it get through like half a season and see if it gets canceled or something first. They're going all in with this streaming service though, because it's going to be they're saying it's their home for TV, movies, and comics.
Yeah.
So when you sign up, you get everything.
I did see that. So that's why I'm wondering if it's worth it, because I wonder, so with the comic aspect, because I subscribe to Marvel Unlimited, which is just comics, which is something that I think Marvel is going to end up, it would make sense if they pulled the same thing that DC's doing just to compete.
They're already, Disney is going to have its own streaming app, and Marvel is going to be part of the Disney streaming app, so they're already...
Yeah, but they need to be able to bring it all together into one app. But with the DC thing, I wonder how new the comics are, because with like Marvel Unlimited, I think you have to wait like 6 months for a new comic. If DC's gonna put out like comics right away, it might be worth it just for the comics alone. And then it depends upon, are they going to pull shows from Netflix? and move
Yeah, I
them
don't
to their
know.
service. So, like, will we no longer be able to watch, all of our DC shows, um, like last season of The Flash? Am I going to have to go onto the DC streaming service, or will I still be able to get it on Netflix? So there's a
Right.
lot of moving pieces that we have to kind of figure out. I mean, it's a decent price. It's
What are they
gonna
pricing it out
it's
as?
$7.99 a month, or $74.99, I think, for a year subscription.
That's really not that bad.
It's really not in comparison to everything else. I mean, it's not terrible. It's one of the lower priced services. I mean, Marvel Unlimited is, I think it's 10 a month, and that's just comics.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, this show looks pretty good. They had me at fuck Batman.
I'm gonna have to. I saw it today, and I was like, oh, I need to watch that. But the site that I had looked, I think it was like TV Line or something, one of the sites that I was looking at it. I hate having to like scroll through everything just to get to the goddamn trailer. So I was just like, forget it. I'm not doing this right now.
Gotcha.
So speaking of, San Diego Comic-Con started
Today. Hooray! I'm not there again.
I know.
35 years running.
My husband and I were talking about that the other day, about how we want to go, and I said I want to go, but I don't want to go. Like, I think I'm too grouchy at this point in my life.
I just need to get into a couple of Hall H things.
Well, that's the thing. I don't want to
grouchies.
fucking wait in lines and deal with people, like all those people.
Yeah, I guess.
To go to Hall H. Maybe one day when our podcast is big enough, we'll be invited there, and then we can just go watch whatever we want.
Maybe.
But I said I'd rather do the New York one first, just because it's closer.
Oh, you've never done New York Comic Con?
No.
It's pretty good. I've done it a few times.
Oh, okay. Well, I also live, like 5 hours from New York now, so
That's true.
it's not as easy for me to get to New York for a 3-day event as it would have been back when I was living in Connecticut.
I hear you.
But, anyways, I digress. So, the official teaser trailer for Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who came out today.
Woo!
I'm excited.
I mean, it didn't show too much, but it's pretty good.
But it didn't, that's why it's a teaser. But I did.
Yeah, I know that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but I think I'm going to really like her portrayal. Just from the couple of, lines that she gave. I'm a little wary on the fact that she's got so many companions.
Yeah, what's up with that?
I don't know. But I do like the fact that, she said this is all new to me. Because she's the first Doctor, since the reboot at least, that hasn't had a previous companion to usher them through.
Interesting.
I mean, Chris Eccleston didn't either, because it started with him and Billy Piper, with him and Rose.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he regenerated and we got Tennant had Rose.
Right.
And then, when Tennant regenerated into... No! Matt Smith didn't have one either. Matt Smith met Amy Pond immediately.
Right.
Okay, so I'm a liar. Because Donna was the last companion, and Donna Doctor happened.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we had Amy Pond right away. But yeah, I mean, so I like the fact that they're acknowledging that we're not getting, an old companion to kind of bring the new one in, which I'm okay with, except I really would have liked to have seen Bill with the new Doctor.
I mean, it's not out of the question.
It kind of is. Bill's kind of dead.
only sort of dead.
She's dead enough.
I hear you.
But no, I think I'm gonna like Jodie Whittaker. I think this is going to, and with the new showrunner, maybe this guy will actually be able to write women characters. Whereas,
the last one was not that great at it.
Stephen Moffat cannot write women.
Yeah.
I have a lot of problems with Stephen Moffat when he became the showrunner.
I know.
We can do a whole episode about Doctor Who.
I know.
But what are your thoughts
About Doctor Who?
about the teaser, jackass? I know you like Doctor Who.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean about the teaser. Yes, about the teaser. I think I would like to see more. I think she looks good. I like the accent she went with. Because I've seen her do different dialects.
I've never seen her in anything.
I saw her in the first season of
Broadchurch.
What?
Broadchurch.
Yes, yeah, and she spoke a little differently. So I'm looking forward to it. I feel better about it already than I did about Peter.
Okay.
And by the end, he grew on me, but
I liked Peter.
He wasn't my favorite.
What'd you say?
He wasn't my favorite, but
no, but he was. I mean, we know who your favorite is.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they don't know who your favorite is. That was the old podcast.
Oh, my favorite is, I don't know who my favorite is anymore, to tell you the truth.
Oh, really?
I mean, it was Tennant for a while, but I really like Matt Smith, too.
Yeah, Tennant was my favorite. Tennant was my doctor.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Okay.
You got anything else?
Not that I can think of.
I do have one more thing that just popped up on my news feed. So it is Thursday,
July 19th.
And by the time you hear this, you will probably already know this, but I just would like to let everybody know, if there's anybody out there that is fans of Star Wars: The Clone Wars TV series, the cartoon series that got canceled, it was recently saved and is coming back.
Yeah, it's been all over Discord all day.
Oh, I thought it just came out now.
Oh, no, I've known about it for a couple hours.
Okay, moving on. Moving on.
So this week we decided to talk about vacation.
Ourselves.
Yeah, we're going to make this a more personal episode.
On a very special episode of April and Jay Have No Ideas.
Before we do that, speaking of, have you seen Zach Morris's trash?
Yes, those videos are glorious, and it's true. He is a garbage human being. Fictional human being. He really is. It took somebody to break it down for me to realize that Zach Morris is trash. Oh
my god, your very special episode just reminded me of that, because it was just so, oh my god, I subscribed to it on, because it's on Funny or Die, so I've got the notification now, so whenever a new one comes up. But dear God, he really was a horrible character.
Garbage. He was a piece of shit.
Yeah. He
really was a piece of shit. Oh boy. Anyway.
Okay, so vacation. Yeah. So Jay, obviously, we haven't been recording in almost
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Right? Yeah, because you took last week off.
Correct.
From recording.
Sorry, folks. I was tired. A lot of driving on my vacation.
Yeah, you did do a lot of driving on your vacation.
It was so much driving. Oh my god.
I thought you were flying for some reason, even though you had the conversation about getting the hat for your car.
We drove from Connecticut to North Carolina to Pensacola to Orlando to Washington, D.C., and back to Connecticut. It was a lot of driving. It was exhausting. My wife did more driving than I did, I will say that, but it was still exhausting. So we visited my father-in-law in Pensacola, and we went to Pensacola Beach. Apparently this is the rainy season down there, so we stayed legit on the beach, and it rained every day. we basically just swam at the beach in the rain. So that was fun.
I didn't realize that they had a rainy season because growing up, every summer that I spent in Florida, we just knew that between like 2 and 4, it rained and the rest of the day was fine.
Well, yeah, I guess that's the case, but so most of our swimming was in the rain. Still nice. Actually, the water in Pensacola in the Gulf of Mexico was very warm to the point where it was no longer refreshing, so I was a little bit disappointed, actually.
Uh-huh.
But it was nice otherwise. We did some typical stuff. We did a dolphin cruise. That was interesting. Saw lots of dolphins.
How did Grace feel about that?
Oh my God, my daughter loves every animal on the planet. So my father-in-law bought a big piece of property in Pensacola, and he has rabbits and chickens, and my daughter was in love with both of them. The rabbits she loved particularly. We let her hold one the first day, and then every day we showed up there, she ran over to the rabbit cage and like opened up the door and let them out.
Oh my God.
So we had to like keep going. No, they're done. They're put them back. Like, she loves animals. So she loved that. She loved the dolphin cruise. Was ecstatic about the dolphins. So we did that for a few days, and then we trekked on down to Disney, which is the happiest place on earth, except for the summer, where it feels like you're living inside of a dog's mouth.
That is such a great analogy.
It's not my joke. I can't take credit for it. I heard the DJ say it on the radio when I was in Florida, but it rings true. Literally, I felt like I lived 4 days inside a dog's mouth. It was the worst humidity on the planet.
Ugh. Florida's a swamp. It's disgusting.
Yeah. But we did get down, we got down to Animal Kingdom one day. We got to go to the new Pandora section of Disney World.
Uh-huh.
Which was fantastic. I mean, man, Disney's engineers know how to build stuff. Like, if there's one thing they know how to do, it's how to build shit. And, like, the floating mountains and everything that they created, like, was so cool. The whole area as a whole, the area as a whole was pretty small. But it was cool. Like, their use of sound and speakers all throughout the place. There was, like, a little, they do this little drum circle show thing where they get like the kids involved, and there's a big drum up on top, and they're hitting the drums and stuff, and like they get the kids hitting smaller drums, and they tell you that they play certain songs to get in contact with the natives or the whatever the heck they're called. So like they'll play a certain song, and then at the end of the song they like stop the music and you listen, and like you can hear them off in the distance, corny stuff like that.
Okay.
But it was cool. It was cool. We got on. There's 2 rides there. One is like a Pirates of the Caribbean, if you will.
All right.
But in the world of Pandora, and the other one is like a Soarin'.
Okay.
But through the jungles of Pandora. Well, of course, the Soarin' one was like 4 hours, so we didn't get on that one. But we were able to get a fast pass for the boat ride one, and it was nice. It was literally like 2 minutes long. I felt like it was legit so short. So I was a little disappointed with that. But yeah, we hung out in Animal Kingdom, and then our last day there, I'll fast forward past all the other stuff we did. We did the typical rides and stuff. I really wanted to go to Toy Story Land because it just opened. So me and my son went by ourselves the last day we were there, and like showed up there first thing in the morning. We like waited in line to get into the park. Ran over to Toy Story Land. We ended up waiting 45 minutes to get on the Slinky Dog coaster.
That's actually not bad.
No, it wasn't bad. And there's a lot of stuff to see and look at while you're in that line. So when you go into Toy Story Land, you're in Andy's backyard.
Okay.
So around the perimeter of Toy Story Land, you can see a giant brown picket fence, which is kind of cool. And then, like, apparently the running gag, I heard a bunch of visitors say it, and then I heard the staff saying it about how obviously there's trees and stuff in that section of the park, and that Andy needs to mow the lawn.
Okay.
Apparently that was hilarious. Like I kept hearing, like I heard that joke probably 4 dozen times that day. I'm like, am I missing something here? My son thought it was hilarious, but he's also 6. But like everybody kept saying, "Oh, look at this, he's got a mow lawn." I'm like, you really? Anyway, so we got on the coaster. It's kind of cool. So it's in the middle of the line. There's like a giant instruction manual to like put together the coaster.
Okay.
And you can see like crayon handwriting on it, where it's like it's almost like a Hot Wheels roller coaster set that he affixed his Slinky Dog to like upgrade it.
Okay.
And then there's like different things all around the roller coaster that like come from different toy sets he must have put together to make this thing. So it was kind of cool. And like, so you're going through and like where the roller coaster is, you know, how it's all covered. It's covered, but it's all the structure is meant to look like board game boxes, and like there's a giant Elmer's glue bottle, and like there's all these different things.
Cool.
So, yeah, so it was pretty cool to see. Like all the railings and the walkways, through Toy Story Land are made from giant K'NEX. Like the plastic K'NEX toys.
Yeah.
Those are all the railings and stuff. And like all the lights in that land, I would like to see it at nighttime. All the lights look like giant oversized strings of Christmas lights.
Okay.
Strung from like the poles and stuff. So it's pretty cool. Everything's like kind of made to look like makeshift.
Yep.
But the roller coaster was good. It was pretty long. It was pretty fun. We went to.
Does it tell a story, or is it like?
Not really.
Okay,
not
so
really.
It's not like Splash Mountain. It's more like Thunder Mountain.
It's more like Thunder Mountain, yeah.
Okay.
And there's like different toys around it and stuff. And then they have a little snack stand called Andy's Lunchbox.
Okay.
Which I didn't realize till afterwards was an actual lunchbox turned on its side.
Oh, neat.
With like the lid of the lunchbox over the top of you. But they have they had like fancy Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
So I had to get fancy Pop-Tarts. They had a raspberry one with like some kind of fancy sprinkles on top.
Gross.
And then they had a hazelnut filled chocolate one
so
with
like Nutella.
Yeah, which I don't really like Nutella, but man, it was a hazelnut filled chocolate frosted candied bacon Pop-Tart. And they're like twice the size and twice the thickness of a normal Pop-Tart. They're like legit.
That sounds amazing. And I would eat a bite of it and be like, okay, too much.
Yeah. It gave me such heartburn because it was just so, it was. So we ordered the two of them. My son's like, I want the raspberry one. I'm like, all right, sweet. So I got the hazelnut one. He got the raspberry one. And then we got these crazy drinks that were made of like Powerade and 4 different kinds of tropical juice. I forget what they were called, but they were like light blue and whatever. So we get back to the little table. We're eating them. I'm like eating the hazelnut one way too fast. And then my son gets like 3 bites into the actual filling of the raspberry. He's like, I don't like raspberry. I'm like, it's legit what you asked for. So I literally had both kinds.
Oh my god, I hate raspberry.
Long story short, I had both Pop-Tarts, and I felt terrible after.
I know you were complaining about you kept complaining about the heartburn.
I had such heartburn on this trip, but it was cool too. So we made a couple historically relevant stops on our way. On the way down, we drove through Alabama, and we stopped at. We stopped in Birmingham. Mm-hmm. Oh, not Birmingham, Montgomery. We stopped in Montgomery.
Thanks, Sharon.
Thank you. And we actually showed my son the church where Martin Luther King Jr. preached. We saw I think it's like the White House of the South.
Okay.
It's literally legit. I think that's literally what it's called, the White House of the South.
Okay.
Any history buffs out there know what I'm talking about. We saw a mural near the I forget what it was near. But we saw like a cool Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King Jr. mural that was kind of interesting. So it was a nice little historical trip. We got to talk to my son about the significance of it. I don't know that he understood it completely, but while we were there too, I was like kind of looking. I was looking up the whole area, and I was like looking up Selma. Because I was like, oh, we can go to Selma. I didn't realize Selma was 50 miles away. Which, wrap your head around that. They marched from Selma to Montgomery.
And how far was it?
50 miles. They marched.
Wow.
50. That's a lot.
It is a lot.
So, a lot of cultural significance there. So it was interesting. And then, of course, on the way back, we decided to stop in Washington, D.C. You and I discussed that you were going on your vacation to Washington, D.C.
We did.
So I don't know why I didn't remember that you were going. And I was like, hey, we're going to Washington, D.C. tomorrow. And you were like, hey, I am too. That's my impression of you. Sorry. Hey, I am too. And we ended up meeting up at the zoo.
Yes, we did.
Which was fun.
It was
interesting zoo.
So fucking hot.
It was hot.
Yeah, so on Sunday, oh, by the way, you texted me a picture on the 4th of July of some brickheads.
Yes.
With no context. Just the brickheads. I don't really know what I'm supposed to do with that, and I completely forgot to ask you, so I'm asking you now. What am I looking at?
I mean, I'm pretty sure I was just showing them to you because I thought they looked cool.
Okay.
But, okay. Yeah, I mean, I didn't realize I had to...
Well, I didn't know if, like, you were pointing something out specifically to me, or what?
Well, they just had some cool ones. They had a Doc Brown and Marty McFly. They had a Chewie and they have these make your owns. It's called Go Brick Me.
Okay.
Brickhead. And it comes with, like, I forget how many pieces it comes with, but basically you build a brickhead and you can make it kind of, sort of look like you.
Oh, neat.
So that was cool. No, we were in the Lego store in downtown Disney, and I just thought there was some cool brickheads there. I'm kind of obsessed with these brickheads.
I know.
I like them. I don't know what it is about them. There's not much to them, but I kind of like.
So I'm looking at my text messages because you sent me the brickheads and I didn't respond, and then I texted you 4 days later and then said, hope you're having a blast, and you said, I'm ready to come home. And I said, when are you coming home? He goes, sorry, taking a nap. We leave tonight after dinner and get to Washington, D.C. tomorrow morning. To which I said, oh my God, I'll be there tomorrow. So, yeah, because for some reason you don't pay attention. You're like my husband. You don't pay attention to half the things I say. So I tried to go to bed at 8 o'clock at night because we had to leave our house at 3 a.m. for our flight.
Yep.
And I got no sleep. I couldn't fall asleep. I tossed and turned. I went into the living room and put on some YouTube. I even tried ASMR, which I've never done before, to see if maybe that would knock me out. Nothing. So I'm functioning on zero sleep. And I decide, okay, well, I tried booze too. That didn't help. So I told my husband, okay, well, you're going to have to drive to the airport because I drank. I couldn't sleep. Nothing. I'm in no shape to drive. We get to the airport. We fly out. 45-minute flight to Logan. No sleep. We get to... Oh, and when we were at the Syracuse airport, I had a couple drinks there. Nothing.
Oh, good.
Oh yeah, when you saw me, I was on no sleep and probably a bunch of booze at that point.
Oh, good. And it was fucking hot.
Actually, not a bunch of booze, a couple. Because did you know you can fly with like as many of those like little nip bottles as you want, and nobody stops you.
Did not know that.
Because they are under 3 ounces.
Fair enough. I did not know that.
So I had asked my mom because she had gone to Vegas, and she's like, "Oh my God!" She's like, "We flew with so many when we went on our cruise, and no one stopped us." So on Sunday afternoon, EJ and I went to the liquor store and bought a whole bunch.
Good call.
Yeah, figured if nothing else, I get drunk, I'll pass out, it'll be fine.
Nope.
Second flight, I think I got about a half hour, maybe 45 minutes of sleep. So. Yeah. When we finally met up, I'd had like a bottle and a half of Coke Zero, so I was like amped up on caffeine. It was fucking hot. I was exhausted, and didn't go to bed until I don't know, like 11:30 that night, and like just crashed. But the zoo, I'd been to the DC Zoo.
Well, it wasn't the best zoo I've ever been to.
No, it wasn't the worst.
Apparently it's built on a mountain.
Oh my God. And so my husband and I, since we flew in, we decided we're not going to rent a car because DC's a pretty walkable city. We'll just Uber everywhere. Mm-hmm. So
that was your first mistake.
I spent so much on Uber. Oh my God. But you know what? It was worth it, especially because I've got plenty of Uber stories to tell. But we had our Uber dropped us off at the top of the hill.
Top of the zoo.
Top of the zoo. And Jay and his family parked where, Jay?
At the bottom of the zoo. The bottom of Zoo Mountain.
Yeah. So Jay and his family met us at the
3/4 of the way at the top of the zoo.
Yeah. Not that the first quarter was really much to look at. You really weren't missing much. A lot of closed exhibits, or the animals just weren't hanging out because it was, I don't know, like 96 degrees. And now I've met Joel, your oldest.
Yep.
I've interacted with him over the years a little bit. But I moved away before your wife got pregnant with Grace.
Yep.
So this was my first interaction with your daughter. Who is a goddamn delight, and I just love her.
She's pretty delightful.
Oh my God. So she's like the cutest little thing. And I have no idea what half of what she was saying to me was, but we had quite a lovely conversation throughout the day.
I don't know either. And she lives with me. I just know pee-pee, poo-poo, potty.
And Jay is raising quite the Star Wars fan.
Apparently. Fans.
Well, no. Grace's response to you was the best thing I've ever heard a little kid say ever.
I don't remember what you're talking. What are you talking about?
You had like bent down or something, and you were like, "Gracie, I love you," and she looks up at you and she goes, "I know."
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That was unintentional too. I didn't even teach her that.
But yeah, she was like pointing out animals to me. It was great. We learned that all of the buildings are not, or most of the buildings are not stroller accessible.
Yeah, but if your wife wants to bring the stroller into those buildings anyway, she's just going to do it. And nobody's going to stop you, because that's the DC Zoo.
And then you have to carry said stroller down
then you
multiple
have to carry
flights
said
of
stroller
stairs.
either up or down a flight of stairs. Yeah, pretty much.
Is she in the room?
She's passing through.
Yeah.
It was an interesting day. But before you continue on to the rest of your trip, so our evening concluded. We decided to take Joel on a walk to see the White House, and we were being ambitious. We were gonna see the White House, and we were gonna see the Lincoln Memorial, and we were gonna see the Washington Monument. We did not realize how tired our bodies were until we started walking to the White House.
Yeah.
Excuse me. We made it to the White House. We showed Joel. Security was pretty tight there that night because that was the night that the president was going to be announcing his Supreme Court justice picks.
Yep.
So there was some heavily armed Secret Service men walking around, one of which stopped to talk to my son and ask him where he was from and what he was doing and stuff. So that was kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
Joel was excited to talk to that guy. So That was cool. And then we started to walk over to the Washington Monument and made it like halfway, and everybody started to fall apart. So we had had enough. So we headed back home. On the way there, we had walked down this one street. We noticed like this crane holding this big square piece of metal.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, what the hell is that? We didn't really know. And then we walked down the street, and there's like more equipment, random like equipment. There's a giant plastic airbag type thing. I'm like, what the hell is this? So we walk a little farther, and now like we're noticing that this one next road is like closed off. And I start looking. You know how like you look around and something's like really obvious, but you don't realize it at first.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like looking, and I'm looking at these cars, and I'm not realizing that all these cars look like they jumped out of like the 1980s. Like they're these like Oldsmobile Cutlass cars, like lining both sides of the street.
Okay.
So finally it clicks to me. I'm like, they must be like filming or something here. That's kind of cool. So I don't know if it was on the way there or the way back that I was finally like, I wonder what they're filming. And we're looking around, can't really figure it out. There's people now lining the streets because they're going to start filming in the evening. So finally I Google, and I'm like, filming Washington, D.C. Come to find out, we walked through where they were filming Wonder Woman.
Yep.
Like, they were legitimately filming Wonder Woman 84, whatever it's called, right where we walked. Like, when I watch the movie, I will be able to point out to you where I was across the street.
Right by the World Bank.
Right by the World Bank. And on the way back, we saw Wonder Woman's stunt woman. Because at first I thought it was her, and I was like, oh my God, I gotta go. And then I'm like, no, nobody's surrounding this woman. And she was carrying like her own gear and her own weapons and stuff. I'm like, Sharon's like, you think that's her? I'm like, nah, she wouldn't be carrying her own stuff. So that was kind of cool. We legit saw where they were filming Wonder Woman. So that was pretty badass. If I wasn't so exhausted, I would have camped out. I say camped out, but not camped out. I would have stuck around for like a couple hours and watched some filming, because that would have been awesome. But
yeah.
I was just too tired.
Yeah, when you texted me about it, you were like, oh, you should come down and see it. They're filming tonight. I'm like, no, I'm drunk already. The theme to my vacation was I drank a lot.
All right. So that was the end of my vacation. The next day we went home. Nothing else important happened. The end. Go ahead.
Okay, so our vacation started, like I said, so we finally land in DC, and now I had booked everything through Orbitz, and I booked the airport shuttle as well. Like the shuttle from the airport to the hotel. What are you looking at?
Nope. I was looking at something on my screen.
Oh. And it didn't come. I got an email from the shuttle company saying, hey, when you land and you get to baggage, log in and we'll send your shuttle right to you. Okay, fine, we do that. We landed at 10 o'clock, and we waited probably a good 45 minutes to an hour for this shuttle to come. And I asked the attendant, and he's like, oh, we don't have a van for you. You gotta wait. But wasn't really helpful. So I called the company, and as soon as he overhears me on the phone with the company, all of a sudden now he wants to be helpful. So we get this van. We finally get to the hotel. Thankfully, the hotel was really accommodating and let us check in at 11 o'clock in the morning. Apparently the hotel hallways looked like from The Shining, from what my husband was saying, but seeing as I've never seen The Shining, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
According to April's husband, they looked like they were staying at the Overlook Hotel.
Yeah, thank you.
Which I thought was pretty cool, but
let me just tell you, gorgeous hotel. So nice.
What hotel was it?
The Fairfax at Embassy Row.
Okay.
So we were staying right near DuPont Circle, right near all of the embassies.
Okay.
I think it was the Lebanese embassy was right next door.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I mean it was a very nice hotel. I I have no complaints. It was beautiful. I wish I had taken a picture of, there was a map on the wall, and it showed like the evacuation route. And the way that the hotel is set up, and the way that this evacuation route is drawn, and Jay can see me kind of like, can you see my hands?
Yes.
Okay. So we have the evacuation route, and it's basically L-shaped, the way the hotel's laid out. But
Okay.
jutting out of the middle of the L is another hallway. But it's got all of the rooms and the shape of the rooms going down the hallway. And we actually stayed at the end of the like second hallway coming out of the L. They inadvertently, or maybe it was intentional, I don't know. The layout of the hallway looked like 2 legs and a dick. And the way that the 2 rooms at the end looked was like the head of a penis.
That's fantastic.
And I see
you didn't take a picture of that?
I kept forgetting to do it.
So mad.
Oh my god, I was dying. I'm like, and I looked at my husband. I'm like, look at the layout. I'm like, we're staying in the head. Like our room was one of the 2 rooms in the head. Yeah. So I stayed in the head of a penis. But anyways.
Very nice.
So we leave the zoo. Well, first we decided we were gonna walk to the zoo, which was about 1.5 miles. Uphill, straight uphill. I got about a block away and I said, fuck this. I'm exhausted. I'm so tired. I'm not walking. So we Uber. We meet you. We all leave. And our Uber ride home, and this is the first of the interesting Uber stories. We had a racist Uber driver. He was about, I don't know, 1,000 years old. And
roughly 1,000 years old.
give or take a couple of years. And he had this like Eastern European accent.
Okay.
And based on my accent, he knew I wasn't from DC, and he asked where we were from, and I said, we're from where we were from. And I said, what about you? Your accent doesn't sound like you're from around here. He goes, I'm from Boston. Okay, bullshit. He was from somewhere in Europe, Eastern Europe probably. So anyways, he's asking us about the zoo, and he's like, oh, were there any exhibits that were closed? And I said, yeah, there were a couple where, they had the signs, the animals aren't home, whatever. And he says to me that the zoo keeps a lot of the animals inside, so their exhibits are closed because they want to make the zoo less desirable. And I said, okay. And to which he said, and I quote, every year there is a gathering of black people at the zoo, and there is a shoot 'em up.
A shoot 'em up. I love that he said that.
So
That's
in
what
order,
he called it.
So in order to keep the animals safe, and to keep the, and I'm using quotes again, undesirables from going to the free zoo, they closed a lot of the exhibits.
Wonderful.
So that was day 1. Day 2, we decided to go to the Smithsonian.
Okay.
We started at the Museum of Natural History. And, we walked around, and I was really excited because I wanted to see the Hope Diamond and whatnot. So I got some nice pictures there. And, the whole downstairs is like the ocean. And like early man and stuff. It's kind of cool. So you go upstairs to where this, the Hope Diamond is, and then you go to where the dinosaurs are. The dinosaur section is under renovation.
Womp womp.
The woolly mammoth and most of the fucking dinosaurs were missing.
That's a bummer.
They had 2. The T-Rex and the Triceratops. And I'm looking around, and I'm like, I don't remember it being like this. And some lady walks up to me, she goes, disappointed, huh? I said, yeah, what gives? And she goes, oh, this is all placeholders. They told me, come back in 2019 if you want to see what it looks like then. Okay.
That's great.
Yeah. Now that morning, my husband and I were talking, and he was telling me something that I hadn't heard about, which was, apparently some of the more religious people, I don't know what religion, but were saying that dinosaur bones were left by Satan to tempt us.
What are they tempting us with?
Evolution.
Okay.
Okay. So, we went to a couple other museums. Went to Air and Space, and we went to the American Indian Museum that day. And they also, there's a new museum. It's the African American Museum.
Okay.
It's the only Smithsonian you have to get tickets for.
Really?
And they're sold out for 2 years.
Why do you have to get tickets?
Because it's like the coolest thing in the world, apparently. So we didn't get to go to that one. But
that's a bummer.
Yeah. But anyways, so we decide to Uber back to the hotel, and our Uber driver says, we're talking, and he asks us what we did. Now, mind you, I'm wearing a dinosaur shirt. Anybody that listens to this podcast knows how much I love dinosaurs. So we're talking to the Uber driver, and then all of a sudden he says to me, "Did you hear about the conspiracy that dinosaurs aren't real?" And I said, "What is it with people?" Because my husband just said that to me this morning. He goes, "Well," he was completely serious. "Dinosaurs are a hoax."
So he wasn't sharing his skepticism of the conspiracy with you. He was trying to sell you on the conspiracy.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Dinosaurs are a hoax. They created the T-Rex out of a tooth they found.
Okay.
Which I don't really know.
I'm not sure. He's giving science and technology a lot more credit than.
Yes. But yes, they out of that one tooth, they created a T-Rex and decided that this is going to be a thing. And from there, all the other dinosaurs were invented by scientists, because science is just theories. And we should be open to questioning science. Okay.
I mean, he's kind of on the right. He hasn't lost me yet.
No. He's completely lost me at this point, because he doesn't believe that any scientific theory is right. Even ones that we've proven.
Yeah, that's true.
And then he asks me how I feel about space and if we actually went to the moon.
Oh, for crying out loud.
To which I said, yes, we went to the moon. And he said, no, we didn't. Okay. But then he said, well, maybe we have been. But that doesn't explain how we were able to make it through the asteroid belt between us and the moon.
Oh, of course. Makes sense.
There's no asteroid belt between us and the moon.
Well, yeah, agree to disagree, I suppose.
And then my favorite part. We haven't been back to the moon because we lost how to get there.
I mean, I can see it from my window. So I'm pretty sure that's not the case.
He told me we lost the directions.
I bet you I could search how to get to the moon on Google Maps and it would give me directions.
I felt held hostage because I was sitting in the front seat of this guy's Uber and my husband was in the back seat, because I tend to sit in the front seat of the Uber Because I don't want to be that asshole that sits in the back and doesn't talk to the Uber driver.
You know you can talk to him from the back seat, right?
I know, but I also get car sick, so I like sitting in the front.
Okay.
But yeah. So that happened.
That'll teach you.
On
Quick side note, by the way.
Yeah.
On TripAdvisor, the Fairfax at Embassy Row, there is a picture of the 6th floor evacuation route.
Is there?
I mean, the only thing, here's my only qualm with your description. Yes, I see it. However, to the right, there's like an extra leg.
Hold on. Let me look at the 3rd floor evacuation route.
It doesn't have the 3rd floor. Listen, it doesn't have the 3rd floor. You take what you can get. All right? I'll send you a picture of it. It's pretty cool. I'll give it to you, though. Like, it's good.
Okay. So I'm telling you, it was something. The first,
I mean, I see what you were talking about. Trust me.
Yeah, it was something that made me giggle every time I walked by it. So Wednesday we went to the Capitol, and had a 2-hour tour.
That's fun.
It was through our senator's office. They had 2 interns take us around. We got to go into both chambers and watch what you see on C-SPAN. On Tuesday afternoon, we also walked up Capitol Hill, which was very daunting. It's like 2 miles straight uphill.
Dear Lord.
Yeah. It's okay, so that evacuation route is not accurate.
Well, I'm just telling you what I found on TripAdvisor, okay?
Okay. Well, they also are doing a ton of construction on the hotel, which kind of
there
sucked.
you go.
But anyways, so it was a half mile straight uphill. Because I wanted to walk to the Supreme Court. So then we did on Wednesday we did the Capitol tour, and we tried to do the American Museum of Natural History, or the American Museum of History, but we're just so exhausted that we decided not to finish. And then we did a nighttime tour. That night was 3 hours of all the monuments.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it was really neat. We didn't get to go to the Washington Monument because apparently the elevator is broken. And there's only one elevator in the whole building.
Okay.
But we went and stood outside the White House, and we went to the MLK, and I did all of the steps at Lincoln and all of the steps at Thomas Jefferson. Lincoln has like 86 steps up to, and they're steep. And we did the Korean War and the Vietnam War. MLK is really nice, especially at night. It's like all of his quotes are like lit up on a wall that they've like engraved. Cool. Yeah. If you look at my Facebook, you can see all the pictures of it. Yeah. So we did that, and that was really nice. And then on Thursday, we did. What did we do on Thursday? We did the International Spy Museum.
That sounds pretty cool.
Which is the only museum we had to pay for. It was...
because typically everything's free.
Yeah. Because this one wasn't a Smithsonian. All the Smithsonians are free. So the International Spy Museum, the whole first floor is dedicated to James Bond.
Cool.
Which doesn't really appeal to me too much. But upstairs is all like legit spy stuff, and like it goes to like the history of things, and it goes to like all the spy gear, and it gave me a lot of ideas for one of the classes that I teach.
Cool.
Which is cool. And then we did Ford's Theater, which... Did you do Ford's Theater on your 8th grade trip?
I did not.
Because my mother said she did it when she took my sister.
No, I didn't do it my year.
And we didn't do it my year either. So that was really neat. Like, we got the whole story of what happened.
Yeah.
Like, the night of
Mm-hmm.
of Abraham Lincoln's assassination. And then if you go across the street, that's the house where he died.
Yep.
So that was really neat. It was a very nerdy trip. Very, very nerdy.
That's okay.
And I had texted one of my girlfriends who I work with, because she has family in DC and she spends a lot of time there. And she was like, "Oh, you should go to this place and, get all dressed up and go clubbing." And I'm like, have we met? It's a nerd trip. I mean, we're doing all the monuments and historical shit and just being dorky. Yeah, so on Thursday, we almost died on our Uber to the Spy Museum.
Oh, good. Of all places.
Yeah. I'm not much of a complainer when it comes to stuff like that. I actually, contacted Uber because it was that terrifying of a trip.
Yikes.
Yeah. Oh, and that was the other thing we did. We went to the National Portrait Gallery.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And because I really wanted to see the Michelle Obama and the Barack Obama paintings that were just put out.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable?
Yeah. Just absolutely gorgeous. Michelle's painting is utterly beautiful. And then Barack's painting, the colors are, it's lit in such a way. I mean, there was a line just to get up to take a picture of it.
Really?
Yeah. And the colors are just utterly gorgeous. It's such a beautiful... I posted pictures of those, too. I mean, the pictures don't do it any justice. It's so pretty in real life. And Bill Clinton's portrait is really surreal and neat looking.
Cool.
But yeah, so that's the gist of my trip. And then I got home and crashed hard.
It's usually how it happens. So the other thing I did on my trip, real quick, because you know me, back to timekeeping. I started a list of funny things my wife said on the trip.
Yeah.
My only regret is that she only said a couple things.
And I was present for one of them.
And you were present for one of them. And I think I read you the other ones. But so I started this list called Funny Shit My Wife Said on Our Road Trip. And I'll read you those right now. The first thing she said was, and I'm not giving you any context or any story, I'm just reading them and moving on. It's 2018. Where are the fucking teleporters?
Still funny.
This is the one you heard. If your beak ain't flat, you ain't a cool cat. Was a comment at the zoo. And then I'm not going to read the last one because I'm sure she wouldn't appreciate it, but it was something embarrassing about being in the car and when you're anxious. And but I won't read that one.
She would not appreciate that one.
She knows she wouldn't appreciate that one, but So if your beak ain't flat, you ain't a cool cat.
And it was so out
random?
Of nowhere.
Yeah, she usually comes up with the best gems out of nowhere.
Oh my god, it was great. And when she said it, you and I just kind of looked at each other.
I went, that's going on the list. I think I was telling you about the list at that point.
No, you had told me about the list a couple days earlier.
Oh,
but
okay.
She didn't know about the list because she then said...
Did.
Oh, she did?
No. Yeah, she knew about the list.
Because I thought she turned and said, what list?
No, and then I said the list of weird things you're... Oh, she goes, oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, she knew I was writing them down. I tell her.
Okay.
So the other thing I think we were going to talk about was we were going to share some other people's stories.
Yes.
Or we were going to talk about best and worst vacation. So I have a quick anecdote about worst vacation. So when I was about 10, we drove to Disney, to Florida.
Okay.
In my parents' minivan with my mom, my dad, me, my sister, and my grandmother.
Okay.
Packed up the van. We put stuff in the trunk. We had stuff on the roof. Whatever. We were driving down, and I believe it was the second day we had stopped for breakfast or something.
Okay.
And then, again, I don't remember because I was a little, younger at the time, but at some point my father realized something was not right. and stopped the car, only to find that the suitcases that were on the roof were no longer there.
Oh, no.
We spent, I think, 4 hours backtracking the same stretch of highway looking for these suitcases, never to find them again. These suitcases contained all of mine and my sister's clothes. So needless to say, we had to go outlet shopping when we got down there.
Oh, no.
To this day, we have no idea how they came off, when they fell off, where they fell off. I swear to God, they must have hit the ground and somebody picked them up and was like, scoop.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
So I have just a couple quick ones as well. When I was 16, I was 16, almost 17. We went to Italy, and it was my parents, my sister, and I, and we were staying with family. My great aunt lived there, and a bunch of my cousins still live there. And my dad was like trying to be super authentic, and was like walking around with like the Italian dictionary, like trying to speak Italian, and it was so annoying. And I was a moody 16-year-old, and it was like everything he did those first couple of days, I was just like, I want to kill him. But our first night there, now we had flown, so I'm functioning on, some sleep. I slept on the plane because I can sleep anywhere. And my great aunt and I are sitting in the kitchen, and she offers me a kiwi. And at that point, I don't think I'd ever had kiwi before. And I was like, oh, sure. So I'm eating the kiwi, and I'm, all good. And I go to bed. And I wake up, and the room that I was staying in, it was three twin beds. I'm in one, my sister's in one, my great aunt's in another. And I sit up and vomit all over myself in the bed. First night in Italy. So that happened. And
we're guessing from the kiwi?
Yes. But don't know this until many years later, probably 10 or 15, that I am allergic to kiwi.
All right.
I've had it 3 times in my life.
And puked every single time?
Yes. Violently.
Oh, good.
And then the other one is another...
After the second time, were you like, third time's the charm?
No, because the second time I had it in a fruit salad.
Gotcha.
And my girlfriend also had it. And she and I both got sick. So we thought we had food poisoning. Because we were the only ones that ate the fruit salad. And the next day, she texted me, or she called me. She's like, I had to leave school. Because it was her husband's birthday the night before, so I brought a fruit salad, and, we...
Yeah.
And she and I were trying to be healthy, and we were the only ones that ate the fruit salad, and the next day, she's like, I got really sick. So I didn't think it was the kiwi. The third time I had it, it happened again. I was like, fuck, it's the kiwi. And then my honeymoon was another terrible experience. I get really bad motion sickness, and we took a cruise. And everyone was like, oh, you'll be fine. You don't even feel the boat moving. You'll be fine. The cruise will be fine. I'm like, okay. So I didn't get a patch or anything like that. I just said, I'll be fine. And our first full day at sea, it was really windy and choppy. And I spent most of the afternoon laying on the deck, sunbathing. And I could feel the boat moving. And I go back to our room to go watch Giants opening game. I'm laying in bed, and I look at my husband of a whole week, and I say, hey, babe, can you please go to the little shop and get me some Dramamine? I don't really feel so good. He gets me the Dramamine. I take it. I shower. We go to dinner. At our table, we're at a booth, and it's us and another honeymooning couple. The other couple had decided that night to go to like one of the restaurants on the boat. So it was just the two of us. So we're sitting at our booth, and I'm like, I don't feel good. And like I'm getting clammy, and I don't feel great. First course comes, I eat and say, I don't feel good. and I grab my napkin and vomit at the table because I couldn't get up fast enough.
Yikes.
And you know what? Our waiter was like so delightful and was like, listen.
I'm sure you're not the first person to have puked on a table on a cruise.
Probably not, but it was mortifying. And our lovely waiter brought me an apple every morning and said, eat this and it'll stave off any motion sickness. It's good for nausea. I felt great. I had an apple every single day. I had my Dramamine. But yeah, so mortifying once again. Yeah, I puke a lot apparently.
Apparently.
So we had a couple. Let's see. Brian Not Brian. Oh, Brian Not Brain. Said every summer as a kid they'd visit his grandparents on Cape Cod for 2 weeks. In addition to going to the beach on sunny days and movies on raining days, the two strongest memories were going to watch Cape Cod Baseball League games with his grandfather and being introduced to Friendly's coffee ice cream.
I love Friendly's coffee ice cream.
I love coffee ice cream. I don't care who it is. At 10, the idea was disgusting, but his grandfather convinced him to give it a try. They'd always get ice cream in a cup, head over to the harbor to watch the boats come and go, enjoying their ice cream.
That's good.
Yeah. Erasure also felt the same way about coffee ice cream. He didn't know if he tried it that young. But regarding the Cape, he locked them out of their car once while it was parked at the Cape Cod beach when the tide was coming in.
Oh, good.
He was doing what he was taught in school. Always make sure to lock your doors in the car and put your seatbelts on. So he locked all the car doors and shut them. And his father and uncle left the keys in the ignition.
Oh! Can I backtrack for a second real quick?
Sure.
So, funny story. First day we got to Orlando, we were staying in a condo. And we got back with the kids. We ordered some pizza. And my wife said, I'm going to run to Walmart and get a few things.
Okay.
Okay, no problem. Walmart was right across the street. Get a call from her about 10 minutes later, and she's in a panic. What's wrong? Oh my God, the car's running. I'm like, what? She had locked herself out of the car while it was running in the entrance to the condo. Because there was a gentleman in front of her. There was 2 lanes. One lane was to check into the condo complex. Mm-hmm. One lane was to enter in when you already had your barcode and you could scan in. So this gentleman was taking up 2 lanes and apparently was confused. So Sharon decided to get out of the car and help him on his way.
Oh, no good deed.
After she got out of the car locked and then closed on her. I want to preface that. Well, I can't preface this because I already said it. I want to point out that I have not figured out how to get my car to lock while the keys are in the ignition and the car is running. My car has a safety feature that if you were to open up the door and press the lock, it'll go and unlock itself again.
Okay.
So no matter how many times you press it, like you press lock, it'll go
okay.
It'll keep unlocking. So I don't know how she did it. It's not really even possible for it to happen, but it happened. So I had to wait 45 minutes on the 4th of July for a gentleman to come out to put this little airbag thing in and then use like a contraption to open my window. Like I had been calling different locksmith companies. They all wanted to charge me like $125. And then I realized like I could use my insurance app and that was one of the options. So it was covered by my insurance and I didn't have to pay out of pocket.
Oh, nice.
But I had to wait outside in the 99-degree dog saliva humidity for 45 minutes for somebody to come and unlock my car while it was running.
Oh, my God.
Sorry. So it's funny that he had that same thing happen to him because I just had it happen to me 3 weeks ago.
So Mike, his family went to Myrtle Beach. First day was fun. Second day, his wife got sick in bed all day. That night, his daughter was sick. And then finally on day 4 of 7, they were able to enjoy their vacation. And Erasure also had a similar story to mine. They went on a cruise on the epic NCL boat in 2012. And his cousins were joining them on their first cruise. One got really sick that first night and spent the entire time in the cabin vomiting, while the rest of them were enjoying all-you-could-eat meats at Brazilian steakhouse Fogo de Chao.
All-you-can-eat meats.
Have you ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse?
I haven't, but I know exactly what it is. It is all-you-can-eat
It
meat.
Really is. Meateria.
They come around with meats on sticks and and grilled pineapples.
Yes. Yeah, well, we went to Florida.
It's just funny to hear it described as, and while we enjoyed all-you-can-eat meats.
when we went to Florida for the first anniversary of my father's death, we went on New Year's Eve, which is the anniversary of my dad's death. We went to a Brazilian steakhouse, and there was a guy walking around that he kept calling it baby beef.
Veal?
No, it was just like little, like small pieces of. It was like basically like filet mignon.
I'm so sorry about that.
It was basically like filet mignon, but he was referring to it as baby beef. So like my cousin Brie and I, that's what we call. We want to go back to that place and get baby beef. But my God, the meat sweats are real. I ate so much meat that night. And it was so worth it. Yeah. So that's all we got about that topic.
Do you have a fanfic pick?
I do. It's a series. And it's by Lilla September. Lilla September. And it is called Time Really Moves Fast, and it is a Check Please series, because that is my latest obsession, is Check Please.
You've mentioned.
Yes, well, I love it. So you and I were talking, and I had asked you if you had heard about the kind of, but not really, feud between Mark Hamill and Chris Evans.
No, I have not heard about this.
Okay.
Like, is it a real feud or is it like a joke feud?
It's a joke feud.
Oh, okay.
But at the end of June, somebody tweeted, "I think it's time we ask the experts on this one, at Chris Evans and at Hamill himself, what do you fellas think?" And it said, "My son just asked the toughest question that I've ever had an answer to as a father. Or had to answer as a father. Can a lightsaber cut through Captain America's shield?"
No.
And then the father says, "Great, now I need to spend like 8 hours on Tumblr and Reddit reading competing fan theories. Thanks, Chris." So Mark Hamill says, in the Marvel universe, no. In the Star Wars universe, Luke wouldn't fight a hero, but if asked to do so, he could cut it into a million little pieces. To which Chris Evans responds, "Foolish. Now I have vibranium ninja stars."
Fair enough.
So, yeah.
So is this a developing feud now, or?
Nah, it's kind of
fizzled out?
Kind of fizzled out. It was kind of just like a, hey, this is a fun thing. But somebody answered the hypothetical question. And you can find that on Nerdist.
Is it a Because Science?
Yeah.
With Kyle?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll check that out. Check it out. So, that's pretty much all we have for this week. Do you want to do some housekeeping? Since
Damn
you were
it!
so good at...
Damn it! I didn't have it queued up.
But since you did such a great job at shouting out all of our locations and information while I was gone.
Did I?
Yeah, you did a good job. So I was going to let you do it. Because I lost the piece of paper that I had all written down.
Oy. Let's see. We're on Discord. We're on Twitter ANJ have no ideas. Our email is aprilandjhavenoideas@gmail.com. We have a Facebook page. I think that's it.
You can find us on Spotify and
yeah.
iHeartRadio.
See, this is why I need you.
Anywhere you find your podcasts. And, of course, randomchatter.com.
Yeah, see, that's...
Our wonderful network hosts.
I'm not that good at it. I don't know. I know you listened to the episodes. There were a couple of times where I said, see, this is why I need Jay.
I know. I used to have it all written down because I don't legit remember all of it because having social media for things is stressful. But yeah. I'll be better at it next time. If you're listening to this podcast, you already know where to find us anyway. So
yeah, it's funny that you did the check it out because I was on Facebook the other night and one of my coworkers just posted his status was just sweet berry wine.
Sweet berry wine.
So I messaged him and I was like, "You got it? Where did you get it?" He's like, "What are you talking about?" He didn't know. He's a Steve Brule fan. He didn't know that it was a real thing.
That you can't get sweet berry wine.
But you kind of can. But I did some more research. The 2018 isn't out yet.
It's gone. Yeah.
No, it's not out yet.
No, it's not out yet.
It's not out yet. But the company that makes the sweet berry wine makes other wines, and it's co-owned by Eric of Tim and Eric.
Yeah, I know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. He owned, he bought the vineyard and
Oh.
You're off for the summer. Your job is to find out how to get us some sweet berry wine.
Jay, I've been looking.
Well, keep looking.
I want sweet berry wine.
Oh, all right. Well, it's been a good vacation.
I'll save the Craigslist for next week.
Save the Craigslist. Yeah, and hopefully we'll come up with some more ideas. We had, I mentioned that maybe we were going to change our podcast format a little bit, doing more personal stuff like this. So if you guys liked this episode, let us know what you think. Would you rather us keep doing lists and topics, or do you want us to do personal stuff? We're still trying to find our footing here.
Yeah.
Feedback is good. Keep giving us those ideas. Keep giving us those phone calls.
Yes.
Leaving us voicemails at our phone that I can't remember the number of.
Oh, hold on. We are the worst. See, this is just what you get with me and Jay.
We'll write it.
Our phone number is 475-212-5457.
Leave us a voicemail.
Yes.
So that's all I got.
Yeah, that's about it. So, I've been April.
I've been Jay.
And that was an idea.
It was more of a memory.
I suppose. I really hope my dog's not here in the corner.